Hi, I'm Steve, this is Susanne. Welcome to the Oak House. Come on in.
What advice would you give to anybody thinking of taking the self-build path?
Just left us in awe of what was possible.
That's what it's all about, isn't it, really? Fantastic. Today we're visiting Steve and Susanne. They're downsizing, building a house in their garden, beautiful oak frame, fully encapsulated. Let's see how they're getting on. Steve, Susanne, hey.
Hey Tim.
Great to see you.
Doing?
Yeah, very well. Good.
Come on, have a look.
Looking good. Looking brilliant. Wow. What a wonderful space. This looks great. Absolutely.
Lovely.
Yeah.
Tell me all about it.
Sue's big idea brief was to get us plenty of light, plenty of space, vaulted ceilings. You kind of delivered.
So we've got a bridge across the middle, so we've really given the whole central section of the house up to the oak frame, so when people walk in, this will be a real wow factor, won't it? Which I often say to people is, with an oak frame, you just need to give it space to work. What brought you to self-build? How did the journey start for you?
Yeah, self-build journey. It is a lot of fun. We've loved it, but it was time for us because our kids, we've got 5 children between us. They've all now grown up and away, and we were rattling around a rather bigger house next door because this is now in the garden of our house. Planning rules had all changed. And a lot of the local authorities now around the country really have to look at approving a garden build for a self-build plot. So it just played right into our hand.
To meet the number of houses they've
It was
got to put
perfect.
in.
Because they hadn't met the quota, we put in an excellent pre-application that got the green light, straight into planning and approved very quickly.
This is still a very substantial home, but you've actually really given it over to how you would like to live.
Thanks again to Oakwrights and also to Pete, designing what we were looking for. We were facing the idea of downsizing, and that filled me with dread and fear, really. Right sizing is what we prefer, so we've right sized. So although upstairs we've only got 2 bedrooms, they're substantial bedrooms, but they work just the way we want the house to work.
How you want to live.
Yep.
And that's wonderful. That's wonderful.
In here, Tim, we've got a lovely garden room with lots of glass.
Lots of grass.
And a beautiful kitchen area, bifolds out into the veranda,
Oh.
which is going to be a dream come true.
I love the verandas. The oak rafters, oak sarking board above. On a hot sunny day you get the shade, and also then you can sit out there, a nice covered area. You could have afternoon tea, morning breakfast running on from the kitchen.
Yeah.
What brought you to oak framing to build your new home?
Oh, it's fair to say we've been fans of barn type buildings for a good long while. When we stayed at the wood house, excuse me, and realised how beautiful the oak was, how it seemed to, it sounds cliched, but it feels like it breathes, it comes to life around you. The feel, the smell, the texture. You know, we are going to be oak bores for plenty of people that come to sit. We will be when people come around. When the sun comes through here, this oak lights up.
Yes.
It's like someone's put a switch on. The whole thing just comes together. It's beautiful. Having gotten talking to Pete Tonks, the designer, our journey started really quite simply. Once we knew we were going down the oak barn route, coming to see your show home, coming then to see the customer's house.
With Pete, you've got one of the best designers around for oak frames. What brought it to life?
We obviously had a shared passion about the houses and the framing, and they got the whole idea of it's all about good design. You get the good design at the front end of the project, everything kind of gels.
Without it being an Oakwrights sales pitch or Pete making a pitch, it was the client that was explaining about why Oakwrights was the only choice for them.
Okay.
Based on everything they'd done, all their research, and that Pete was the right man that delivered on every element of their design.
Well, I think it is interesting that there are lots of good companies out there, but each company finds a fit with a certain type of person and then allows us to build the product that we build, which is a wonderful situation. What was the brief to Pete to bring the design together?
Well, I think we wanted to have like an open plan house, lots of light and obviously lots of beautiful oak.
My kind of ears pricked up when you said, you know, classic Essex countryside barn. I could see it, and I thought, yep, Oakwrights, we can do that.
We'd had that initial chat and I'd sketched out a real rough piece of A4 drawing, something like this, please, Pete. First sketches that Pete put together that came back just left us in awe of what was possible.
The planning process, you know, what was the journey like?
Pete taught me patience, basically.
Patience is a key thing with planning, and I've done it for 15 odd years with Oakwrights. You do have to play the game really well with the planners. I have to take that away from the clients and really manage that process. We felt it was appropriate to do a pre-application on this project. It's an open countryside plot. There isn't a guarantee you're going to get planning. So we did a softly approach. That went really well with the council. we got it in writing basically that they would support it, which then reduces your risk at the front end of the project, makes you feel comfortable. We know that we can then go to full planning and get you a result. So on this occasion, pre-application worked really well. And they liked the design, they bought into the design, they bought into the oak frame, eco side of things as well. It was just a win-win, we ticked all the boxes, you felt good, we went to full planning, got it approved first time without going to committee, so...
Success.
And that was part of the nail biter there too, was what's going to happen when it goes to planning. Will neighbours object because we're building something near where they live? Contrary to that, we actually had 4 people write in, having seen the plans. One of our neighbours actually has followed Pete's work for quite a few years.
Story.
So he was over the moon to see that we were getting a Pete Tonks designed Oakwrights build. Yeah, it was fantastic. But we had 4 people write in to say it looks great. That's the kind of development we should have in a village like ours.
It was supported all round.
Yeah.
How's it going, Dave?
Yes, great, yeah, good productive day today, lots going on.
We've got a great design. Got a very enthusiastic customer. Designed the oak frame, we designed the right wall panel system, we've erected the oak frame, we put the panels on, you're virtually in the dry. But there's a massive amount of work before that and beyond that, and that's where Dave comes in. Dave works on the turnkey solution, the total project management, the hand-holding, looking after the customer.
For us, project management is we get involved as soon as the planning has been received. Normally with a planning approval, you get a number of conditions that need discharging, so they're ready and waiting then to start breaking ground. And that's when we get into foundations. The big day.
That is the unknown of any building project. And here, Dave, we had a bit of a challenge, didn't we?
Yes, we did, yeah. I mean, we did some test holes prior to get some idea of what we were going to go into. It was more a question of what we didn't find, really. Part way through doing the foundations, we found out that historically the site used to be an old pond. It was a challenging set of foundations, and I know at times you were dubious as to whether it would actually get to sort of above ground level.
If you did not have a project management team with you at that time, you would feel very exposed.
And I think not only a project manager, but one that knows the end-to-end process. So understanding your frames entirely and what's required, understanding about the load bearing that's going through the floor at different places.
And also to settle you down and just don't panic about it. There'll be a solution. Yeah. But you need a team.
Because it's keeping everything on track and where it needs to be and keeping us confident in everything that's happening every step of the way.
Which is the key.
Working with our team to bring the slab together to allow the oak frame to go on in the panel system, and then looking after all the trades after that. Pete's also working alongside, just giving advice on finishings, detailing, just to give that little final touch, that end-to-end process, isn't it, where you've got the design, you've got the oak frame, the panel system, the build, really looking after you. So you can be as involved or as little involved as you like.
As a project manager's role is there to be a conduit between the plethora of trades that are involved. We take all the flack, all the hard work, all the grief, all the stress, and you're there enjoying the process.
Just make it happen.
It's great to see where we are. It'll be wonderful to come back and see when we're all complete and the house is finished and you've worked your magic and turned our oak frame into a thing of beauty. That'll be good to see.
No, really looking forward to it.
Here, you've allowed the central part of your house to really give the oak frame space. You can imagine in the evening when guests are coming, be lit, beautiful light inside here. It's going to look absolutely amazing.
Yeah.
I've come out here many mornings and found Suzanne actually already having left home next door in here at 5 in the morning with a cup of coffee.
I do love it.
Because when this room lights up at sunrise, Sue will be here cuddling the oak.
Yes.
Because, but the warmth of it is something you can only get from oak. People have been saying, what are you going to do when you finish the build? I think it's obvious. We're going to sit and look at it.
Yes.
Sit and look and stroke it. Yeah. So here's the master bedroom, Tim.
Wow.
And that beautiful view.
And a massive, beautiful view. That's what it's all about, isn't it, really? Fantastic. It really is going to be a pretty house.
We've had lots of comments, not only about the roof and the way it intersects like that, but also something I really hadn't focused on was how the valley is tiled rather than leaded,
yes,
like a lot of people do. So that's been picked up on by some of my neighbours already.
You're deep into the project now, Steve and Susanne. What advice would you give to anybody thinking of taking the self-build path?
Definitely have a project manager.
without any shadow of a doubt.
Yeah.
So the team that we've got, get the right team on board. Like other people watch Grand Designs and other programmes, and you sit back and watch semi-comedic TV of people that you know are going to fall down. We don't have building experience, but every part of this experience so far has been an absolute treat because we've got the right team around us.
I think another tip is to be living close to the house, be on site every day really.
That's helped us enormously, hasn't it?
Yeah, that is a great advantage, I think.
I don't, maybe it sounds wrong, maybe, but go for the best that you can possibly afford to go with.
Yes.
We looked before at an option of building a house, and we abandoned that whole project because we were trying to build just to a budget,
Yes.
or design to a budget, and the design wasn't at all what we were looking for. So we have pushed the boat out, we have pushed the boundaries, as we're going with the best that we can possibly afford to do and not cutting corners.
Well, the house is going to be there for hundreds of years, isn't it?
Yeah.
Literally hundreds. And the rest of your lives, hopefully, you'll spend in this beautiful house here. It's getting the best value that you can get for your money, isn't it? To get the very best you can really put into the project. Question that everybody asks when they're talking to me is, how much is it going to cost? And this is a beautiful house built to a very, very high standard, or being built to a very high standard. How did you develop the budget for your project?
Well, I don't think Steve knows what the word budget means, actually.
Not too true. But again, this comes back to working with Dave has been a huge help, our project manager,
Yes.
because we knew what we were into in terms of the oak framing. That's a finite number once we'd designed the house with yourself. But then all of the other elements that come in, whether it's the groundworks, glazing, the carpentry, all of those things, Dave has given us a really good headline budget to follow. And then we know we're robbing Peter to pay Paul as we're
That's it.
looking to
If you
keep
spend a little bit more here, that means you've got to save a little bit over
He pulls
here.
us
So it's
in
just
on bits
deciding
and
how you
bobs,
keep
doesn't it?
moving things
Yeah.
around to get the design.
all part of the fun. You know, everyone that we talk to says, well, what's your budget? Phew, you'll be way over that. They're not completely wrong, because we had a budget and we knew we were going to have to, as you say, smudge it rather than budget.
Yeah.
But it's not
Yeah.
too difficult to manage it properly. I think we've been hit as well with just some of the rising prices of materials. But none of us can avoid that right now.
At the end, we'll have a beautiful
Yeah.
product,
Love
the
it.
dream. Steve, Suzanne, it's been a great day. Thank you so
Oh,
much.
you're
It's
welcome.
wonderful to see the house. I'm really looking forward to coming back in a year's time when you're complete, you're in and settled into your new home. I hope you've enjoyed today's episode. Hit subscribe, press like, and comments. Let us know what you would like us to make more videos about. We're having great fun. Please join us on the journey.